Hello everyone. Alright, how you doing today? Let me know who's here in the chat. Do I know you? Have you been here before? I just got back in the house, so I have to check my tuning. Usual tuning, of course, as usual. We have C, G, D, A, F, and C. All right, Stephen, thanks for joining. Anything you guys are struggling with these days with the oud? Any questions you guys have? I'm happy to help. Alright, Tudor, thanks for joining. I'm going to talk about some new oud music. Happy New Year, Eris. Nice to see you. So I'm just picking up the oud for the first time today. So let's do some warm-ups. Japan is going good. Yeah, it's really cold and dry here. Okay, we're all tuned up. Nice, you're coming in March. That's great. Minus 25. Yeah, I don't envy that. But you guys probably have central heating and fireplaces and all that. We just have air conditioning. yeah, good question there, Victor, about your oud. Even though the double strings are tuned fine, hitting them, they sometimes have a slightly different pitch. You really have to be exactly precise with them. It's the only time that, let's say, you hit the two strings, and what tends to happen in my experience, like you go up the neck or something, and they start to sound different, out of tune when you go up. But if you get them perfectly in tune, when you play the open string, it should be perfectly fine if they're perfectly in tune with each other. If not, they're probably just slightly off. And that's this is something, you know, that is normal on the oud. It's normal, but you have to be able to tune them perfectly with each other. The strings hitting each other and buzzing, that's an issue that will probably disappear with time as the strings break in. If it doesn't disappear, one thing that I do, which I change, is I restring at the bridge and make sure that there's not too many loops on the bridge. When they're tied to the bridge, and if you tie so many loops onto the bridge, then what happens is it gets really tight there, and the string vibrates like crazy, and so it may buzz. They may interact with each other. But also, if they're not tuned precisely, they will also vibrate differently. So they'll vibrate at a different rate. So they may hit each other. But when they're tuned the same, exactly the same, there should be no buzz. Yeah. So when you put the finger down on the neck as you go higher, if they are out of tune, then that's an issue with the string. Maybe the strings are cheap or something's wrong with one of the strings. One of the solutions is to take the string off and then reverse the direction. So the bridge part, tie it to the peg and vice versa. And sometimes that solves the problem. I don't know why, but it does. You can try that, or you can just replace the strings, get a better string set. The strings on ouds are not always, you never know what strings you get on them depending on where you bought it or who strung it up at the workshop. So you never know what strings you might get. Sometimes they put quality ones on there, sometimes they don't, sometimes they are cheaper quality ones, sometimes they just do a rough quick job and something's wrong. So yeah, that is something that you can try. Just replace the strings if it doesn't fix it. The worst thing is when you buy a brand new set of strings and you have that problem, because you spent money to purchase new strings, and then the two strings are not getting in tune, especially being up the neck here. That used to happen a lot with Aquila strings, and they fixed that problem. They got a lot of feedback from oud players, and it was just really annoying. Sometimes you'd buy a new pack of strings and you'd play it was always with the C course. You'd get it exactly in tune, and then they'd be slightly off as you keep going up the neck. It was fine over here, but then as you went up here, it would be slightly off, and it was really annoying for people. But that happens very rarely now. At least when you buy new strings. All right, so I wanted to mention a couple things. Got some new music recorded and released, and if you guys are interested in new oud music, I'm gonna bring that up here, share it with you guys. I'm really excited about the new music. I'm trying to release some music more these days, and I've got more on the go that's gonna come out. Right now I'm releasing them as singles, and they are oud and daf duo kind of stuff. Let's see here. I'm gonna put the links here. Right, I'll put them in the chat. There we go. And here's my newest release. Wherever you stream music, you can click your preferred place. This track is called Khaliji Drifter, and it's a traditional Palestinian song put to a Khaliji kind of oud riff, and I'm really happy with this track. It's a nice, moving, dynamic track. And then here's another one with that's kind of an improvised piece. I completely played it off the cuff and just recorded it with some loops. This one's called The Parade. And yeah, I'm really happy with how these tunes worked out. So listen to those. Let me know if you like it. We've got another one that's kind of a slow piece. This one is a 10 rhythm, like a samai. And this one was also just an improvisation, so it's called Creating in 10. Check those out. Have a listen if you're interested. I'll put them on here too. Let's see. I'll just put it on Spotify or something. See if that comes out. All right, here we go. A little taste of Navid Drifter. Starting to sound a little loud there. So yeah, that's Khaliji Drifter. I'll turn that off. You guys can listen to that some other time. And yeah, there's more good oud music really being released as well. My friend Nizar Rohana, great oud player, has recently released an album. Great. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but you should definitely check that out. The name of that one, I just had it up here, now it's gone. Where is it? Nizar Rohana is also a Palestinian oud player, and his work is great. I really like his improvisations, his his improvising style. It's great. So check that out. The new album is called Safa, and you can check that out there. I'll just put the name of the track here. Okay, there's some questions. All right, let's see here. Okay. I know the oud is fretless, unlike the guitar. What are some other fretless string instruments that might be similar to the oud? Might be similar. So there's the Indian sarod. Sarod is a good example of another fretless instrument that is kind of, in some ways, like the oud in that it's just fretless. But the difference is that they're metal strings, and they have a metal fretboard as well too. When you put metal strings on as a fretless instrument, they get muted quite a bit, and so when you need a really tough surface to really get sound out of metal strings on fretless. So hence the metal soundboard, and also they have some kind of compound that they put on their nails, on the tips of their fingers that I've seen. friend of mine who plays sarod. He put something on his fingers to also get and prevent muting, and to get a more robust sound from metal strings on fretless, they add something to their fingers. And I don't know if that's like standard, or that was just something he was doing to get a better sound, or what. Maybe some people grow their nails longer and use their nails to get a better sound out of it. But it's different than oud in that way. Oud, we use the meaty part of our finger, and because we're using nylon strings and thicker strings, the resonance is different. Another fretless instrument that's similar to the oud, I was just thinking about it. What was it now? Oh yeah, the jumbush. Jumbush is a instrument that was invented in Turkey by an Armenian instrument maker, and it's like a fretless banjo. It's got a metal pot as the resonator, and then like a fake plastic skin on top, and it's tuned like an oud, but it's not quite like they tune G to G, so much higher. They also use metal strings too. So the fingerboard is like a very almost like maybe like an epoxy kind of resin on top, so it's very hard. So you do get like a more banjo-ish sound because it's metal strings. I have a modified jumbush which is made for nylon strings because I just like nylon strings. The sound of it is closer to an oud. It's like a little bit different than the normal jumbush sound. The cool thing about jumbush, I'll type it into the chat here, but I always need to look it up to have the diacriticals happening here. Jumbush, it's got the Turkish diacriticals. Jumbush, the C is pronounced like a J, and then the S with the mark underneath it, that's SH sound, jumbush. So jumbush, the cool thing about it is that they're really inexpensive. So they're really easy to get into. It's just they're a little bit awkward to play. I mean, they're cheap instruments. And so it's hard to balance the instrument a little bit. I found that was the biggest thing. But they're really fun to have. Everyone who plays the oud should have one in their collection. There's no reason not to get one because it's just so affordable. You can get them anywhere online. It's a great idea. Yeah. Okay, so hi Tim. We're working on keeping the face parallel. Yeah, good. That's great. Played Zarifatul for a friend and he recognized it immediately. Awesome, cool. That's great. I'm happy you're using that stuff. Any other questions other than that? If not, we're gonna get into a little bit of something here. I'd like to teach you a little Persian piece, Persian folk song. Now, a good question about how often to change strings. It is hard the first time you change strings, but I change my oud strings like maybe once a year. More often than that, only if I'm experimenting with different oud strings. But if you're just learning the oud, you don't have to. You can keep the oud the strings there on for 2 years if you want, as long as they're still responding. But you will notice a difference when you change the strings. It'll be brighter and more alive. All right, Andres, nice questions. Thanks, guys, for asking questions. I love questions. I love answering questions. Which artist would you recommend to help me develop my listening skills with the oud? I love its sound, but much of the oud music I've heard so far feels too similar to me. What do you mean by similar? I mean, there's a particular style that's consistent all around the board. If you listen to style, like it is important that they be similar so that you see the patterns and you hear the patterns. Probably the reason you're thinking that they sound similar is that maybe you just need to go take a deeper dive and learn more about the music. I'm just guessing. No idea, whether that's the case. I don't know what you've read or what you've studied in terms of oud music, but you're probably just hearing the general kind of thing, which of course does sound similar. But the oud music is a very subtle and nuanced thing. There's a lot of things that are very similar. And the improvising style, for example, the type of. But when you get into the differences of different maqams and the different regional styles, it's very rich and rewarding. So that's a good question. Well, I would depends on what you want to do with the oud. Like if listening skills with the oud, are you playing oud? Are you learning oud right now? There's kind of two kinds of listening that you have to do when you listen to oud music. Okay, for the one thing is like, are you listening to songs or are you listening to takasim, improvising? There's two ways to approach it. When you listen to a song, you want to learn the song as you listen. So you want to make that song part of you. When you're listening to a taksim, it's the same kind of thing, but you need to be able to recognize the little things that are going on in the taksim, the ajnas that are played, and the maqam, and you have to have some knowledge about the basic maqams in order to appreciate, as an oud player, as an oud learner, what is going on in the taksim. Otherwise, as just a casual listener of the oud, you just enjoy the sound and the feeling and let it take you on a journey. However, if you want to improve your listening skills with the oud, you need to have some basic knowledge of at least the basic maqams first before any of it kind of makes sense to you. And that you're starting to catch the concepts, so that when you hear a taksim that's in Maqam Hijaz, for example, you can be like, oh yeah, okay, I know that part of Hijaz, I recognize that, I hear what he's doing there. Oh, now you can hear that he's going somewhere else, so you need to be able to recognize these little parts, and that requires a bit of knowledge on your end, to gain that stuff before, so that when you're listening, you can make sense of it. People that I would recommend to listen to, in terms of being able to digest particular melodies from improvising, I would recommend guys like Munir Bashir, because Munir Bashir really made his career out of performing takasim. Very soulful stuff. But also there's a lot of silence in between his phrasing. So they're more digestible. In contrast that with guys like Simon Shaheen, which it's just like a wash of sound, wash of improvising. And so you can't easily, as a beginner, follow what's going on in Simon's taksim, because it goes from one place to another very quickly. And it's very rich, and so you need to be a bit more advanced in your knowledge, in your playing, to be able to follow it. Otherwise, you're just like a casual listener, just enjoying the music, just enjoying where it's going. So that's a really good question. Thanks for asking. I'd love to answer these questions before I get into anything. I'm very afraid of buying oud mainly because of strings. Can I learn to change them myself? So yeah, absolutely. You can learn all this on YouTube. I have a couple videos on changing strings as well. You don't need to be afraid of that. It's like changing the strings on a classical guitar. You tie them to the bridge, you tie them to the peg, and you tighten it up. That's the very basic way of doing it. But you have to be patient, and you have to take some time. It takes at least, as a beginner changing the oud strings, you at least need 2 hours to do it. So you need a bit of time, be patient, but that shouldn't be anything to prevent you from getting an oud. Oud strings are easily to be ordered online, no problem. They don't break that easily unless you tune it, super high and higher than it's supposed to be tuned. They won't break. It's no big deal. All right, let's see here. Tremolo. Tremolo really depends. It depends on how slow the song is, how fast the song is, and the feeling of the music. But basically, I generally do tremolo for like a quarter note time or a dotted eighth note if it's a slower piece. So that's where I do tremolo most of the time. Fighting the string when playing tremolo. Yeah. The speed of these are really good questions about tremolo. Tremolo, like this is another YouTube live in itself. But you should be the cutting through the string. Like your arm should not get resistance from the string. You need to develop the muscle in the wrist and the forearm to get this action happening so that the strings don't fight you back. You need to adjust the tension by which you're holding the rishi, so that the strings don't fight you. That's really the key ingredients, finding the right tension and choosing a rishi that's comfortable for you. Whether it's soft or hard, it doesn't really matter so much as long as you're getting the movement correct. Be aware that a nice tremolo takes between 1 to 3 years to develop on the oud. It's not going to happen, very quickly. The amount of control and that your right hand needs to develop is quite significant before you can do a nice tremolo. And yes, the speed of the song will determine how fast your tremolo goes or how many strokes go into your tremolo. So yeah, with that, for exercises that I would recommend is just to slowly start on one string, like so. Slowly increase your speed. Use a metronome to keep you on the right tempo, and you do 4 strokes per beat. So like 16th notes, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and set your metronome to like 70 beats per minute, and slowly speed that up over time. Set the metronome a bit higher. And you really, as you practice this, you'll find that as you speed up and you want to make more clear, consistent sound and evenness with the strokes. Evenness is important with tremolo. You want to become aware of what's happening. Okay, at this speed, is it getting a little bit shaky? Is my wrist losing energy? Also, between doing this, you need to take breaks, relax, shake it out, let the blood flow back into your hand when you're practicing tremolo, when you're training tremolo, and be aware of what's happening with your hand. If you're feeling at a certain tempo, if you're starting to feel resistance with the strings, then you need to spend some time there and figure out with the hand, change things, see what you need to do to resolve that resistance. So you really have to think about what's happening with the muscles. Don't do this. Don't turn from the arm. The elbow has to. It's all with the wrist and the forearm that's happening. Another exercise you can do is to try to do some strumming on the oud with that same muscle movement. Exaggerate, and let's just hold a chord, for example. You can put your finger on D and G, and you've got so you got your finger on D up here, and then you got the open string G and D. this exercise is really important because this is going to exercise your arm. And that's going to widen the amount that you can strum or do this physical movement. And it should help you in the long run with getting a nice tremolo. Make sure the muscle movement is the only thing moving is the rotating of your hand here. Let's hopefully see that. So this is also going to be hard as a beginner because you're getting the risha to cut through several strings. And so that's going to train you to figure out how to do it. And you really have to ask yourself questions. Okay, change this. Tighten up the index finger and the thumb. Loosen the thumb and the index finger. Try different things like that. Loosen up or tighten up the fingers in the risha hand here. There's all these kind of things that you can play with to see what gets the best result. This is not something that like I can give you the absolute answer, because at a certain point, at a certain level, whatever you are given, whether it's a guitar pick or a rock or a piece of paper, you can play the oud, and you figure out how to do it because you gain so much experience. So it's something you have to discover kind of for yourself, what's going to get the best result. I play one oud on a different oud, and I have to change the way I play because the strings feel different. Something about the way that they're tied on, the way that the oud is made, the action and everything is different about each oud that you play. So I have to change these subtle things to play the same way that I was playing on a different oud. If you go and get somebody to all of a sudden, like someone's been training for a concert, and you give them a different oud to play for that concert, it's not going to help them perform because they're going to be completely thrown off by playing with a different oud. So these kind of things are relevant for developing tremolo. You kind of have to, there's no one answer that I can really give you, except that you need to practice every single day, at least for 5 minutes, the tremolo, at least 5. Like if you have 5 minutes, you'll see progress within 6 months, a year. You'll see the progress for sure. But you gotta incrementally increase your speed with the 16th notes till you keep going and keep going. Yeah, we're gonna do this piece in the normal tuning C, F, A, D, G, C. It's not that intense. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna answer the other questions after I get through this, just for the sake of time. So hang on, I will answer these questions. These ones will take a bit more time, but I'm just gonna go through this piece a little bit with you guys, and let's see. Maybe I can put the sheet music on the screen as well, if you'd like that. Don't need to see my face for this. Just need to see the oud, listen to the oud. Okay, hang on a moment. Now I might play a bit different than the notes, and the reason for that is because all right, here we go. The reason for that is because I want to simplify it. The notes are a little bit misleading. There we go. Okay, should be able to see that. Okay, so this song is in shur. That's like bayat on re, on D. So let's go through the notes that we have here. We have in the key signature, you can see Si bemol or B flat, and you can see this other, maybe this looks different to you. This is a E half flat in the key signature here, E half flat, or E koron, or Mi nos bemol if you speak Arabic. So we've got Si bemol, Mi nos bemol, and so it's like a makam bayat from Re or D. So let's go through the notes that we have in this scale. We have D, or Re, Mi nos bemol, or E half flat, the E coron or E quarter flat, whatever you like to call it. You've got the F with the third finger, and then G, and then A natural, middle finger, and then you've got C, B flat, and then C, and then D. All right, and so the first melody goes like this. Let's do that again. So you can either end on the E, the Mi, or you can end on the Re or the D, whatever you like. That's how I play this piece for beginners. There's some extra stuff happening there. That's for a different tuning. I've got the F tuning. This song is usually played with the F string tuned to a G, but I don't do it that way these days. So the main melody there at the last two measures that you see on the page there, G, F, F, E, E, D. You can do a tremolo there if you like. And this is, the notation is a bit funny, so just try to learn it by ear with me. Okay, now for the second phrase. The second phrase is very similar to the first. It just goes one note lower. So it starts on E or Mi. Alright, I'm just going to play this for you so you can hear how it all sounds. There we go. Okay, so first 4 lines. Song is how it goes. All right, let's do this next part. I'm doing this a condensed version. You may need to watch this a few times to really learn the piece, but we go through the tricky parts of it. So basically I'm just playing these notes, G, A here, Sol, La. I'm playing them like quarter notes and filling them in. I'm not playing these bass notes because I'm not using the right tuning right now. I don't have the G as an open string. I've got it as the F. So I'm not playing that part. I'm adapting it differently. So let's do this part. So we've got I better make sure that people can see. Okay, yeah, it looks okay. That again. All right, notes are centered. This part here with the 2 slashes in each note, that just means you're doubling each note. So la la so sol fa fa mi mi, or a g g f f e e. So you're doing down up down up down up down up. For the rest of the song, all these eighth notes, you're just doing downstrokes. All right, let's do it again. this a very simple way. And so we're basically simplifying some of these notes here, not playing the bass notes. We're not doing some of these ties. These ties are more advanced. We are adding some tremolo here on the E. Okay, let's go through the whole piece again. Hopefully you guys can see this to some degree. It's a bit small, but we'll go through each half again. All right, first half. Scroll down, show you the rest of it. So the second half of the song here starts here at this F. All right, so this is the song Robabe. This is on this piece is adapted for oud by my teacher, actually, back in the day, Hossein Behruzinia. It's also on his album, one of his classic albums. It's a great piece. Take a look if you want and replay this video. Try to learn this song. I want to answer some more questions before I gotta get going. So thanks again for joining this. Yeah, let's see here. What do we got? Get rid of that. Let's go in there. Main difference between Turkish and Arabic ouds, the 58.5 centimeter scale length ouds that use Arabic tuning. That's a good question, a very good question. There's a little bit, I don't know too well. I want to research this a little bit more. It really depends on the people making the oud. I really don't know, for example, like what is going on behind the scenes in terms of the construction of the instrument. Right now, in the last like 10 years, the Turkish oud builders, they've expanded into the Arab market. So they're making ouds for the Arab world, and a lot of Arab musicians are using and buying Turkish ouds now, Turkish-made ouds, but for Arabic tuning. And they are constructing them, I believe, a little bit differently, and maybe not as thin of a soundboard. All these kind of things are debated, not really too sure, but okay, a Turkish oud should sound very different from an Arabic oud. There's a different, nasality about it. This oud, for example, sounds very Arabic for a Turkish-made oud. And I don't know what they're doing differently, whether it's the bracing that they're doing, the thickness of the soundboard, but it's like a Turkish size oud. It's 58.5 centimeters. Really, it's what goes on in here that it makes all the difference. Also, another thing, like you can, if some Turkish ouds you can see, depends on the builder, of course, but like there's different widths between the bridge and the butt end of it. And I've noticed that for a lot of Arabic ouds, there's a larger space between the bridge and the bottom. Now, this isn't 100%. I've seen Arabic-made ouds, Iraqi ouds, with shorter distance where the bridge is and the bottom of the oud. But those are some things that I've seen. I see a lot of also larger sound holes for Arabic ouds, but the Turks, they have this optimal combination. Measurements to get optimal sound out of and projection and resonance. So they use a particular size, a smaller sound hole, center sound hole. Arabic ouds have a lot of different variety in building style and method and all this kind of stuff. So, but Turkish ouds are a bit more consistent. It's really the sound that you're going to hear the biggest difference. There's more of like a nasal sound when it comes to real Turkish ouds. Turkish ouds that are made for the Arab market are not quite Turkish oud sounding, but they're not quite Arabic oud sounding either. They're close, but they're a little bit different. They might have a bit extra. Arabic ouds tend to sound very rustic, a little bit, maybe less bass and more middle range. I find Turkish ouds have a nice strong bass range and a bit more sustained perhaps. But yeah, if you have any other follow-up to that, let me know. Let's see, another question here. Different maqams, Amir, good question. I have a whole playlist of shorts which go through different maqams if you're interested, so take a look there. You can look on my channel, look under shorts, and you'll find a bunch of different maqams. But it's very basic kind of explanation or demonstration there, but that might help you. Thoughts on Nasir Shama oud models? Yeah, so these Nasir Shama oud models, they're the Munir Bashir oud style. Munir Bashir, he invented the floating bridge oud. There's no doubt about that. People call it the Iraqi oud now, but it's Bashir style oud. So Nasir Shama comes from that kind of school of oud style. The design of the oud is a floating bridge, and it's kind of its own different thing. But in terms of the style to play Arabic taqsim, I mean, you can use whatever oud, doesn't matter. It is a different sound. There's a different sound with it. Often those floating bridge ouds are tuned fa, so from the F string to an extra high F string. But it doesn't matter. I mean, people who use standard bridges also tune fa as well, F to F. You can tune floating bridges to C as well. Yeah, I mean, you don't. It doesn't really matter. It's just what sound you're looking for, and it's a newer invention, the floating bridge oud. The more traditional sound comes from the fixed bridge. That's my favorite anyway. Fixed bridge is the way to go. You get a darker, muddier sound, muddier tone. So it's not really got to do anything with taqsim. It's more to do with the sound that you're looking for. I'm glad you like the camera quality and all that. Thanks for the feedback. Question about sight reading. Yeah, playing in an ensemble is great for your sight reading. I know for myself, what really helped was when I was in high school and I was playing trombone in high school band. You'd get a new piece of music and you kind of have to go and just get it and go. And so that really helped with sight reading, because you're not only reading, but you're also listening, and you're listening to other people get it right, and that helps you get it right. And that helps you, okay, you see the notes, okay, that's how I have to play that. And then the teacher will help you as well. And eventually you're sight reading, you start to see the same patterns. You hold one note for 3 beats. Okay, that becomes pretty easy to do after like a month or two in band class, in an ensemble. Arabic ensemble is a little bit different though. Playing with a chamber ensemble, sight reading is a bit different. You may get a chance to practice these tunes before you get to an ensemble setting, unless you just go there to practice new music. But yeah, ensemble work can definitely help you with sight reading. This one, I don't have the notation easily available to share with right now. But Brian, if you email me, I'm happy to set that up for you. So if you email me just at support@OudforGuitarists, I'd be happy to just privately send you the sheet music for that tune. anybody who's interested. Okay, got another 5 minutes. I'll try to answer more questions here. Yeah, this oud is the Sultan Plus. Unfortunately, it's not on sale anymore. I did have it for a really good price like a couple years ago, but now the price has gone up. Price of shipping and everything, everything prices is going up. So unfortunately, we can't sell it at that price any longer. It's going for through my website. You get the oud. And you get the 4 levels of the foundation program, the online Oud learning course. You get the 4 levels, which is a $240 value. You get the Oud and that included in the price, and the price is $1,320. I think I have that right now. You can also pay for express shipping, but the standard shipping is good enough too. The standard shipping is free. But express shipping costs an extra $275. That'll get to you within 3 to 5 business days or so. Really good. It's an excellent oud. Like, this is one of their best sellers, and it's just a fantastic instrument. I've played a concert with this oud. It's super loud. It's really nice. Let me put the link to it. You can, of course, order this directly from Sultan Instruments, but the benefit of getting it through me is that I provide you with a free oud learning program by going through me. I'm business partners with them, so I'm able to provide this with my oud learning programs, and so you get some resources to actually start learning how to play the oud. If you're interested in one of my other programs that's not the basic learning course, you can also email me and I can set you up with a different course of equal value. Okay, another question. Old Ottoman music from Middle Ages, did it give a more Persian vibe to you compared to the Baroque Ottoman music? I've never heard a distinction between Ottoman music from the Middle Ages to Ottoman Baroque music. I'm not sure I've ever encountered such a distinction. So I'd like to learn more about that. The music that I know of that's been preserved through Dimitri Cantemir, some of the music that's been attributed to Ajamlar, the foreigners are basically Persians. It does sound very, very similar. There is definitely a more Persian vibe to that music. Consistencies that I can see between modern Persian music and that music from Dimitri Cantemir that is attributed to Persian composers that were in the Ottoman Empire at the time. Baroque Ottoman music, I'm not sure what you referred to as that, so I can't touch on that. But I do also have released some music that is attributed to Al-Farabi, which is highly unlikely, but it's attributed to Al-Farabi. They're unknown. Nobody knows really who the composer is, but Turkish, for whatever reason, Turkish musicians or musicologists, whatever, have attributed it to Farabi. I have no idea why, but they're unknown composers. I've released two pieces. You can find that on all the streaming platforms through my music. There's a Rost Peshrev and a Peshrev in Khorasan Bayati. So those are pretty interesting to look at. Pentatonic with 2 fingers. I don't have time to show you that. Sorry about that. Angle of the wrist. How far do you bend your wrist? I can do a little bit here. So when I do a strong default stroke, my angle is pretty strong. Like, wind up is like from here into the oud. Right, like this. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle. So I'm kind of the risha is going into the soundboard. Now another wrist angle, more subtle intricacies is to hold your wrist parallel like this and to kind of go away from the soundboard. See the difference there? When I start to angle the thumb away from the soundboard, I get a stronger attack. But here I can do more intricate work when I put the thumb directed to the ceiling and kind of move away. You know, you can do this kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's kind of two different wrist angles. You can use both. All right. That's all the time I have. This was great. I really appreciate everybody for joining me today. I think Sunday night for North American time zones is good for people, so I'll probably be doing this more often. We'll have another Oud live lesson next month. Another email will go out to the newsletter. So if you're on the newsletter, great. If you're not, you can sign up on my website. You know all where it is. Yeah, I'd love to chat more. See you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.